Yes, good, thank you. Hi ladies, how are you? Nice seeing you. We are talking about a very, very interesting issue today. This coming parasha will be Parashat Va'era. Okay? In this week, Hashem punishes the Egyptian nation, gives them 7 different plagues, very hard plagues, basically to teach them, okay, that Hashem runs the world, Hashem controls the world, okay? And when we speak about Egypt in Hebrew we say Mitzrayim. What is Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim starts with the letter Mem, and there's opening in the letter Mem, and ends with the letter Mem Sofit. It's all closed up, meaning people that came in to Mitzrayim, to Egypt, were not able to come out. They were stuck in there. Okay? And what is, in Hebrew, we call Egypt Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim from the word Meitzar. What is Meitzar? Meitzar means a narrow place. A place that a person gets into and it's very tight there. He doesn't find himself. It's very hard for him. The word tzara, which is suffering, is also Mitzrayim. The word tza'ar, sorrow, is also Mitzrayim. Okay? People came in Mitzrayim, were very, very hard for them to leave Mitzrayim. So Hashem punishes the Egyptians, and the Jewish people, it starts the redemption, you know. They are going to, Be'ezrat Hashem, become free people. They free themselves from this jail that's called Egypt. Many people are, in a way, jailed, okay, imprisoned, okay, have all kind of bad habits. And I would like to refer to bad habits that people have in relationship between husband and wife. Okay? How do we set free? How do we get free? How do we improve? Okay, bad habits that we have, certain behavior that we used to, how do we become better? How we work on ourselves to make it better? Let's start with a story. A boy came to the circus and he saw, of course, many animals, many people do all kind of tricks. He saw one huge, big, giant elephant. Okay? After he did the show, he saw that the instructor, he tied him up to a little nail or piece of wood in the ground. And he's thinking to himself, such a huge animal, why stay stuck in that little nail or piece of wood? Why can't he, push himself and go away? He asks his mother, and his mother explained him something like that. This elephant, since he was born in captivity, in the circus. So yeah, when he was small, they used to tie him up to this little wood, and he was trying to push himself away. He was trying to pull. He was trying to set free, and he couldn't because he was really little. The more he tried, the more he couldn't. It was really, really hard for him. Slowly though, in his mind, he got used to the fact that he is tied up, that he cannot set free. And as he grew up, he already gave in to his situation, and he understood that he will never be able to set himself free. This is the power of bad habits. People create themselves certain bad habits, and they get used to it and becomes their personality. And as they want to set free, very, very hard, because it's rooted already. It became part of you. So what do we do? How can we work on our relationship? How can we make it better? Every couple, Baruch Hashem, they start very well. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of understanding, there's a lot of respecting, mutual compliments. Everything starts well. Life is promising together. Be'ezrat Hashem, they will have a nice home together, a nice house. They will have family, they will have kids. Everything is fine. But then, slowly, things start to squeak a little bit. okay? And life is not exactly as they have imagined. Things change. People start to argue. People start to disagree on many things. And our first thinking is, my spouse, my husband, he needs to change. Okay? And so let's start working on it. Number one, in order for us to improve our marriage life, don't start with others. It's not going to help. Start with yourself. Right? With yourself. So you asking a question like, why cannot be more organized? Why he cannot help me out like my brother does? Why he cannot be smart like my father is? Why he's like this and why he's like that? You want him to change. You want him to become better. You want him to do something, not to stay in one place. And it's not going to help. Stop, demanding, because it's not going to help. And it's interesting. Living together, husband and wife, it's a system. Relationship is a system. Even if one of the things is going to be changed there, the system arranges itself, adjusts itself, okay, on itself, and you don't have to do anything about this. So instead of thinking about the other, let's change our own perspective. Let's change our own behavior, okay, to the positive. Once we change our behavior to the positive without expecting anything in return at all, okay, this is when things is going to turn better, and hopefully your spouse also will change to the better, to the positive. And so it works in two directions. If you treat your husband in a negative way, God forbid, you're going to be very criticizing, you're going to demand from him all kind of exaggerated, too much demands, you're going to degrade him, he's not going to change to the good. This way, people are not changing. But so what you have to do is to work on quality time together, which is very important. Plan ahead to go together, to do some things together, to do some activities together, to go out, dine outside here and there, go to shiurim together here and there, do some kind of other activities, and give and keep giving and keep giving, because this is the only way. Number two, you have to make your relationship between you and husband, it needs to be the priority number one for you. The foremost important thing is your relationship, is your marriage, okay? And this you have to put number one. Unfortunately, a high percentage of people who get divorced today is really unnecessarily. There's no really need for divorces. People just don't work on the relationship, don't work on themselves, okay? Once we defined what is love, that the love is the most important goal in my life at this moment, okay, and you're going to invest in it, you will see the results. Because whenever you invest in something, okay, and you give all your life to it, and you try the best that you can, okay, it's going to help you out. So your husband needs to be in a priority for you, even more than your children. Believe me, the kids will be fine. If the relationship between you is good, okay, the kids will be good too, okay? So first, your husband and you. And so as I said, quality time. Make sure that you are in touch during the day. He should call you. You call him once a day, or I don't know how many times a day. Not only, when he comes in the evening, oh, you here? It's very important. It's very important to speak, to communicate. See, Adam and Chava were the first couple in the world, Adam and Eve. And they had to do whatever they could to make their marriage work. If not, what's going to happen? There's nobody else in the world. They were committed to one another. Okay? We need to feel like that too. There's no other person in the world, only me and him. Okay? The problem is that we're so exposed now to the social media. There's Facebook, there's this network, that network, and people are exposed to people out there, all kind of connections there, big mix-up between men and women, and people compare. People compare what type of lifestyle they have. People, I guess, post all kind of pictures. They went to vacation, or they ordered this and this furniture, or they bought this and this thing, you know, and you're exposed to that, and you feel jealous, and you want to, and you come to your husband and you complain why they can, why we can't. Okay, it's a big deal. So so this. You have to make space for intimacy, and it's so important. People like to compare. That's a big issue when people compare, and woman likes to compare too. And but you see, when, let's say, your husband, he tells you, "Why don't you cook like my mom?" Right? It's an explosive sentence. No one likes this kind of a thing. You get furious when it tells you like that. But hey, we do many times like that too. You tell your husband, why aren't you educated like I don't know, my brother-in-law? Why can't we buy a house like my cousins? Why can't I get this? Why can't I get that? And we compare too. So this is something that you don't like to hear, okay? And you try not to do to your spouse. Don't be right all the time. You know, you try to be right. I'll show him. I know. And in a way, in a battle, when people fight, yeah, you can win, you can have victory, but what type of victory is that? You know, what do you win exactly? Looks like on the short term you're winning, but you're not really winning. And so you think what you're doing. People, they argue, and you can tell him all kind of speeches, and you lecture him, you know, this is the way, this is not the way, this is what you're supposed to do, and so on. Sometimes we act in a very arrogant way to our husbands. We think we know better, and by the way, we hurt. Okay, we can say all kind of stuff. We hurt his feelings, and to prove, you know, that we are right, okay, we'll do everything. So this winning, okay, doesn't worth the victory, and we will win, but on his expense, on the husband's expense, and the relationship will just go down. You know, instead of coming close to one another, we're getting apart. A couple came to Harav Israel Mikoznitz, Hamagid Mikoznitz. He lived about 200 years ago, and didn't get a lot of especially disagreement on one topic. Okay, the guy wanted to divorce his wife, Lalim. So the rabbi is like, why? What's the problem? He says, Rabbi, I want to explain you something. I work all week long very, very hard. And I come waiting, anticipating, okay, for Shabbat. Shabbat, my wife does this pie, potato. Ashkenazi call it a kugel. Kugel, yeah. And I do this, she does this, and I'm waiting. I like it very much. So what do you think? My wife, she serves it to me the minute that I do the kiddush? No! First she gives me the fish. Then she gives me the soup. Then she serves me the potato and the chicken and And only when I'm so much filled up and I cannot have anything else, this is when she serves me the kugel. What type of wife is that? She doesn't care about me. And the wife tells the rabbi, well, what can I do? My late mother, her mother passed away. She used to serve kugel only in the end of the meal. I cannot break this custom. We have this custom in the house. I cannot break. My mother passed away. I want to respect her memory, whatever. So the rabbi thought for a second and he said, I have a suggestion. Let's compromise, he says. You're going to, from now on, do 2 kugel. One, you're going to serve right after Kiddush for your husband, and one you're going to serve in the end for the memory of your mother, or whatever her custom. The couple never thought of that. They liked the idea so much. They were so happy and content and satisfied from the rabbi's idea, and they went home happily and lived, a happy life afterwards. Do you want something from me? Ask. This is communication. Communication is so important. How in the world would your husband understand what you want from him? What do you need? What do you like? If you don't explain yourself, if you don't express yourself and tell him, okay, what do you need? What do you want? What's your idea? Whatever, in all kind of stuff. Most of the sorrows that man and wife, husband and wife, they feel, it's not because they're cruel or they don't care or something. It's just that, they want to say something but they don't, and then they get frustrated why the other one doesn't fulfill the wish or doesn't care so much about her need or about her wish and stuff like that. And they're bothered when they don't get it. So don't give orders. If you want ask him to do something, ask him nicely. Asking nicely works so much better than boast around and tell him, you do this and you do that, you be like this and you be like that. Asking nicely is so important. Asking, if can I ask you to help me out in this and this thing? I cannot do it on my own. I know that you're very smart. I know that you can help me. I know that you will be able to do it in a better way. So, your husband, I'll tell you what, to ask, because when you don't ask, it will backfire to you. It's going to be so hard for you. There was this woman that went to the hospital to give birth, okay? And it was already her 3rd or 4th child or something like that. And she told the husband, you know something, you don't have to visit me. You're going to stay with the kids. It's okay. It's important for me that you stay with the kids too. The husband, he made sure that once that he brings a babysitter to leave the kids with her, with the babysitter, and he went to visit her in the hospital. So she's telling him, why'd you come? I told you don't have to. What about the kids? What about this? There's so many things to do. Blah, blah, blah. He tells her something like, if I want to visit you now, you're going to remember it all my life. I guess you had already the experience from the past. She keeps complaining, yeah, and you didn't even come to visit me in the hospital. And then, women. So, yes, your husband is different from you, and it's a fact, and you cannot really do so much about that. But if you will know what bothers you, if you will know what you need, or if you tell him, if you express to him what you need, it's going to be so much easier for you, and you won't develop all kind of feelings of anger, of insult, of you're not going to burst out just one day because he doesn't listen, because things are piling up when it's not needed. So express yourself in a clear way, and don't blame him on stuff. Just talk to him and tell him what you need. Let's say your husband, for example, here it says he's pressuring you on something. No, come on. You tell him something like, when people are pushing me too much, I'm stressing out. I cannot really work. I need, to be calm to finish the job, to do something, to continue, and so on. So, okay, not to tease or to humiliate. Okay, very important. Because you know your husband the most, you are the most close person to your husband, you know his most weakest and sensitive points. And because you know it, okay, you can point on this and you can insult him in these issues or humiliate him in there, and this is not good. Don't tell him something like, you don't have to be so sensitive, because he is sensitive. What can you do? And when you tell him something like, you don't have to be so sensitive, okay, so you again you insult him in there. Instead of this, in the Torah we have something that's called ona'at dvarim. You cannot, humiliate people, insult people, calling them names. All this is called ona'at dvarim. And between husband and wife, this mitzvah, it's even the strongest, because you're close to one another, and you can fail a lot. So you have to be careful. Instead of being careful with your friends, with people that you go to a shiur or to synagogue or something, with your husband is the most important place where you can practice this law. Instead of saying, I told you, when you gave him an advice and he didn't listen to you. Instead of saying, I told you, you can say something like, I see how it hurts you. I feel your pain. I feel so bad for you. This sentence will be so much better. To hurt him with words, it's like throwing stones on him and tell him, bend down. You see, you didn't bend down, so it hit you. Of course it's going to hit him, the stone. Okay, this we speak about verbal words. Of course, no one throws stones, but when you say all kind of bad words to him, when you say things that are not appropriate, of course it will hit him. And you are blamed to cause this pain. You have to be careful with this. So men and women are not allowed to speak to one another in a ridiculous way, in disrespect, in a teasing way, in a mocking way, in a humiliating way, in a scorning way, okay? You cannot insult, you cannot be speaking irony or to have jokes on his expense, to make fun of him, it's a nice way to enjoy in a cool way from him. Also, don't remind him all kind of mistakes from the past. We specialize in this so much. And so a sentence like, no, why it takes you so long? Come on, do it faster already. You say it out loud. People hear it, okay? And he gets embarrassed. And many times he gets even more stressful, like exactly like it happens to you, it happens to him too. So instead, this is not really helping, and just prevent doing that. And okay, so a language is something that we get used to it, and it's very hard to uproot it. So you have to be careful not calling names, God forbid, not using bad language, okay? Not cursing, God forbid, and all these things. Huh?
Children loving.
Children will see it, of course. There was this couple, the husband, every time he used to be upset at his wife, okay? He used to call her, you're done, God forbid, okay? And this couple were already married for 8 years, and always it would annoy her, okay? Anytime he tells her you're done, because she really had intellectual disabled brother, and it was a very sensitive issue in that house, in her house. Whenever he called her you're done, she would get upset all from the beginning. You cannot get used to that thing. It's like when, God forbid, somebody stabs you over and over again with a knife. Do you get used to pain of this stabbing? You don't. Every time it's painful from the beginning. Okay? So this is what happens when people keep hurting each other. Yes, sometimes people close themselves up, they seal themselves up not to get hurt from other people, but it doesn't give you the freedom to continue humiliating a person. It's not right. So, so when you speak, be careful. Many times people are more careful even when texting. When you text, okay, and you want to send it, let's say to somebody important, to a, I don't know, to a group or something, you're very careful with the way that you write stuff, yeah? Well, when you talk, you're not so careful. You're just, taking the words out of your mouth. Women, yes, they have to be more careful as they speak with their husbands. Instead you say, whoa, what do you want from me? Yeah, your husband is like talking to your boss. You're aware of what you're saying. To your husband, you're not even aware of what you're telling him. And then as he repeats something that you said, really, that's what I said? And okay, so do whatever you can not to embarrass him and not to put him in a very not appropriate situation. If you say, I cannot control myself, what do you want from me? It's not true. When people want, they can definitely control themselves, If somebody knocks on the door, all of a sudden, you open the door, you're smiling, you're, hi, how are you? A second before, you were so furious, you were screaming at your husband, and when somebody comes, or somebody, your friend calls you on the phone, you're all smiling, and you're all happy, and you're okay. Means that you can control if you want, right? So, it doesn't give you the freedom to get angry and to be spontaneous like you claim you are. I'm spontaneous. What do you want from me? Who said being spontaneous is so good? Yes. Sometimes people revenge. What do I mean by revenge? There's a human tendency to avenge back, to people who insult us, to people who made something wrong to us. You want to, let's say you lended someone something that you had, and she didn't give, you asked her something, she didn't give it to you back. So you're upset. Why you don't give it back? Why whenever you need it, I gave you, now you don't want to help me out, you're getting upset. So next time when she asks you, you also don't want to give. Okay? This is called lotikom. Okay? Not to do the nekama. So naturally, when people did something wrong to them, they want to cause them something bad, something negative. If somebody insulted you, you wanted him to be insulted back. Not necessarily by you, but somebody should do it. Somebody should cause him a pain too, the way that he caused the pain to me. And when people do something like that, okay, if God forbid, you want to hit back your husband for something that he told you, for a way that he behaved towards you, okay, you humiliate yourself, not him, because you're going down in the level, okay, and you let your worst feelings come up and lead you to very, very wrong behavior, to go against the Torah way. And this is something that we want to prevent. So instead you think, what can I do, okay, to make my husband feel better? How can I make him feel good? This is totally the other way of thinking now. It's not, this is a question that you need to ask yourself. How do I work on myself, okay, to stop saying these nasty words, to have this bad language? How can I stop getting involved in his decisions? He had to do something in his job, and you keep getting involved and bothering him and deciding for him. Who asked you to get involved? How can I stop to interrupt to his words? Many times he just says a sentence, you already interrupt, and you know already what he thinks and what he's planning and what he wants to do already. How can you stop to say the first thing that comes in your mind? Okay? People say that when people think for a second, and don't take out the first thing that comes in their mind, they can prevent a lot of mistakes, a lot of problems. How can I stop to annul him in this one sentence that's called nonsense? I know better than you. I went to higher education. You didn't go to higher education, or something like that. How can I change my voice of tone, okay, to make it more friendly, to make it more easier. A couple came to our rabbi. Lo Aleinu wanted to divorce. What happened? The wife had a very strong complaint. My husband, from time to time he goes out with friends, and then he drinks with them alcohol, and he gets drunk. And when he comes home, late at night usually, he's tired, he's exhausted, and he's drunk. He comes and he says bad words to me, and I waiting all day long for him to come. Prepared food, prepare everything. He's not coming. So I answer him back. What does he think he is? And so he sees that he answers her back. He starts to be even more violent. He's more aggressive. Even cursing her, God forbid, or even hitting her. So she hits back. And this is what happens all the time. She says, I don't want to live with this guy anymore. I don't care. So the rabbi was sitting and talking and saw that there is a potential in this marriage. Okay, there is love, there's everything. It's just that they need to improve themselves, both of them. He told the wife, let's make an experiment. From now on, the minute that you hear the door opens, you go to the kitchen and you prepare yourself a cup of water.
Cup of what?
Water. And when he comes, you take 1 spoon of water, teaspoon, and you put it in your mouth and leave it there. Don't spit it out and don't swallow it. Leave this water inside your mouth. And she's like, okay, and then what? And then you're going to keep it in your mouth until you're going to go to sleep. And then, after you're doing it a few times, come back to me. He says, what is this? He says, it's a special remedy, okay? And it's really helping out. I tried it out on other people and it really works. She said, okay, I'll do for Shlom Bayit, for sake of Shlom Bayit, I'll do that. So since then, whenever her husband comes, she takes this cup of water and she puts this spoon of water inside her, and he comes and he starts, you are this, you are like this, you are like that, and she's like, she wants to answer him back, but she can't, because whenever there's water in your mouth, you cannot really talk. So, and he says another thing to her, and another thing to her, and she cannot really talk. This way, he's screaming, he's yelling, and then he gets tired, and he falls asleep. At this moment, she goes, she spits the water out, and she starts yelling at him back, but you know what? No partner. And now he cannot really answer her back. So no fight that night. The next night and the next night and the next night. You know what she realized? That he screams less and less and less. First time he screamed for half an hour. Then he screamed for 15 minutes. Then he screamed for 5 minutes. And then when he saw that there's no partner himself, okay, he stopped screaming. Okay, he started even complimenting. I see how you work on yourself so nicely. You don't even answer him back. They started talking to one another. And then, of course, the rabbi continued guiding them and everything. And Baruch Hashem, this couple became so much better. So you see, you say to yourself, how can I change a habit? Sometimes, don't answer back. That's enough. Yes, you're going to kill yourself from the inside. Yes, it's going to be very hard for you. But you're going to learn how to control your anger, how to control, yourself, how not to be led into a fight for no reason, and less fights, and then Bezat Hashem, things are going to get better. So, number 4 that I wanted to tell you is respecting. It says, behind every great husband is an encouraging wife. What do you know? Okay? The thing that the husband needs the most, we know, is respect. And Rabbi says, אין לך אישה כשרה בנשים, אלא אישה שעושה רצון בעלה. Who is the most kosher woman? The woman that does all whatever her husband wants from her. By a definition of Chazal, what is a bad woman? A bad woman could be a woman that cleans the house all day long, that prepares good meals, that is organized and everything. But whenever he comes home, she keeps bothering him. She is envious in his calmness, let's say. She doesn't want him to be calm. She keeps asking him and requesting him and demanding from him all kind of stuff, and doesn't let him, come down, doesn't let him rest, and keeps bothering him. So I'll tell you, once Rav Chaim Shmulevitz was Rosh Yeshivat Mir Zatzal. He had a guest that came to his yeshiva, Yeshivat Mir, and they came home right after he gave the shiur. They came home. So as they came home, he announced to his wife that he has a guest, and the wife, she served soup. That's what she prepared that day. So she serves the food. The rabbi gets it. He eats it and he likes it so much, and he tells his wife, "Whoa, such a tasty soup! Thank you so much. Can I get another portion?" Sure. She goes again to the kitchen. She brings him another plate full of soup, and he eats and he eats and he eats, and he tells her, "It was so good. Can I get another one?" Again she goes, and then he comes, and again he compliments, and again he asks for another one. This guest is like, "Rabbi, what happened to you? Since when? I know that you are not this type of person that keeps eating all the time. I see you. You're all in Torah and everything. How come you are into eating today all of a sudden? This is the example that you show. This is Talmid Chacham. That's what is he doing?" He tells him, "I want to tell you something. The way that I prepare a shiur, it's called shiur klali. So I give it to all the guys. And let's say right after this class, a guy comes to me and tells me, 'Rabbi, your class was so nice. Can you repeat it to me, because I really like that. I like this compliment, and I don't mind to repeat it to him again, because he gave me a compliment. It made me happy.' For my wife, the soup that she prepared for her is the shiur, the class that she prepared. For her, it's a big deal. She's not a young woman. She went all day to the market today. She bought this and this furniture, vegetable. She bought stuff. She prepares for me.